if you are new here, we operate on a fiscal year, and so our fiscal year runs July through June. And I know we're a little bit into August, so it's a little later than normal, and I apologize for that. It's just the way that it went this year. So we're going to go over kind of what happened last year a little bit, and then we're going to talk about what it looks like next year, and then we are going to close at that, right? Because there's so much to talk about. Okay, so our budget last year, which was June of 24 to July of 24 to June of 25, our approved budget was $3,966,636, and that's something that we have already been doing. The updates that we've been doing quarterly. But there's something a little different that we did last year when we budgeted. Our auditor, which we get audited every year, and we like to be transparent and open about all of that. He asked us to budget for all of our income. So all of the different events and programming, our coffee house, anything that's outside of what our operations are, he asked us to specifically budget for. And we had already been collecting money years and years, right? Because we've been doing events forever, but we've never really added that to our budget number. And so technically, even though our budget was approved at 3.9, our budget was actually 4.4. And so I wanted to be very clear about that, because as we continue to grow and as we continue to have just financial accountability, some of that information might change. And so I really felt that it was important that you guys were aware of that piece, and it'll kind of flow through the whole update that we have. And I know some of you guys, that's too much information already, so I apologize. Okay, I get that.
Hey, so one of the reasons why we do this and why Stacy is so good at what she does is we have always been transparent, and we will be transparent. And so that's a beautiful thing. So you're going to hear a lot of numbers, and if you're not a number person, we do this because it's like family time. It matters a lot, but it's because we want to be transparent. We think that that's the way of Jesus, to be transparent with his church and his resources and how they're stewarded.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay, so as we continue to grow, we have been more regional than ever, and I thought it was kind of cool. We have about half of our database we have addresses for, so we're able to actually kind of see where you guys live and whether you live in the central area, which is Wilsonville, or northwest or southeast. And that kind of shows how the demographic of Grace Chapel is broken out. And the regional structure is stuff that you guys have been hearing, and you're going to continue to hear as we develop more and more in the regional structure that we have. We also have, when it comes to that, there are certain partnerships that we have locally and globally, and I want to highlight 2 global partners that we have. And Jake, it would be awesome if you wanted to talk about Living Water and Africa New Life for just a minute.
So we have 2 global partners that we decided a long time ago to go the long distance with. And so year after year after year, we continue to partner with them, and instead of like, we're going to partner with them for a couple years, we decided to go with them for the long haul, and just like the direction, stayed in the same direction with them. And so we have an opportunity. Last year, Living Water International, you can throw it up here, we took an offering, and in 24-25, the giving was $66,216 just to Living Water International, which gives us a lifetime giving which is $788,000 that this church in Wilsonville has given to build clean water wells around the world. Isn't that amazing? It's amazing. The other thing is Africa New Life Ministries, and I know that some of our team, I know the Eckleys are here, some of our team, we just came back from Africa seeing the work of Africa New Life on the ground there. And this last year, we had 118 new sponsors that sponsored students through Africa New Life. That's just last year. And that gives us 696 lifetime sponsored students. So we're almost 700 students that have been sponsored through Grace Chapel specifically. And we also do give resources to Living Water International monthly to support one of their homes at the Kayonza School. And so there's other things we do as well through Africa New Life.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're really big about just being accountable financially, and so we do have a team of people who makes up our finance team. As I mentioned, we have an audit every year. We are an ECFA member, so it's really important to us that the integrity of our books are something that is really looked at. And so I want to make sure you guys are aware that there is a team of people who are looking at that, who are going over all the decisions that we make when it comes to how things are going, approvals, and as our income and expenses are coming in, what does that look like? So as a whole, Grace Chapel, you guys, 40% of you give to Grace Chapel. So thank you. 40% of you give to Grace Chapel. And of that, I would say 70% give regularly. Now, regularly could mean weekly, monthly, or even quarterly. And so 70% of those that give on a regular basis. And so thank you very much. That is extremely helpful when it's regular. In addition to our One Fund offerings, we do have a couple of special offerings that we do. And we already alluded to the one for the Advent season when we give to Living Water. But we also have Heart of the City. And so you'll see, in addition to what our giving came in, we do have these other amounts that have come in that is part of how things operate and how we give ourselves away. So now that I gave you guys kind of all of that, so how did we do last year? So here is a quick snapshot quarterly of our income and expenses and what our net number is at the end of the year. And you will notice that it is a little bit of a deficit. It is the quarterly number. That's the year one. There we go. Thank you. So this is how it's broken down by quarter. It kind of just shows the ebb and flow of the natural giving rhythm. Typically, the first quarter is a little low. Typically, the second quarter is very high. And then the third and fourth quarter kind of go back and forth depending on what time of year it is. But that kind of just shows you the ebb and flow of our income and expenses. And so how did that money get spent throughout our ministries? We always love to throw this dollar bill up so you can see how our different ministries utilize every dollar that comes in, how the dollar goes out, and how it's spread out amongst the ministries here at Grace. So you already saw, but our budget, so as a reminder, our budget was about 4.4 with all of the other income that was predicted. And then you'll see that our income that we received is about 3.8. And then our expenses were just over 3.9. So you will see that our ministry leaders did a great job of spending under budget last year because as income was coming in, we were making adjustments and we were continuing to modify that to be really good stewards of the resources that you guys were providing us. So that goes to say there definitely was a little bit of a deficit, and we had a deficit last year as well. And so we did pull that income from our reserves. We do have a reserve account that we tap into when we need to. And so we have been blessed for that, so thank you very much. However, we can't continue to pull our reserves and feed the deficit that we have. So with that in mind, we definitely made some changes this coming fiscal year. We did reduce our budget, and we did a couple of changes, specifically the coffee house.
Yeah, so last week I mentioned about our coffee house. And when you came in today, sorry, but you hopefully saw a beautiful printout of Lost and Found is coming soon. And Lost and Found is a coffee company that we partnered with, and they are going to be functioning out of the coffee bar and the lobby during the week, as well as they'll be providing, if you want that coffee, not free coffee, on Sundays like normal. But they're going to be here in the middle of August, and it's a beautiful win-win for them. They are a Christian business that's getting started and really wanting to be a business that reaches out and reaches people in the name of Jesus, as well as it helps us on our end with our resources, because now they will manage the day-to-day and they'll manage all of the inventory and all of that stuff on their books, and allows us with the space that we have to be about what we want to be about for the community, but not have to carry it. So it's a win-win in so many ways for both of us.
Yeah, we're really excited about that opportunity. Okay, so we talked about how we are addressing the deficit, and now what is our budget next year. And so because I mentioned we had like our operational expenses and our other income and our total budget, that's how I'm presenting it to you for this next year as well. So you will see that our net budget is just over $3.8 million. We're predicting about $430 in additional income. So then our budget, you'll notice, is a little lower this year at $4.2 million. So we're really excited to see what God's going to do. I feel like he has continued to bless Grace Chapel. I am really excited to see. I know that we're reducing our budget, but I am excited to see how God is going to refine us in this season.
absolutely. And one of the things that you probably saw as we were walking through that is that 40% of us give at Grace Chapel, which means there's 60% that, for whatever reason, have decided not to step in financially to Grace Chapel yet. And we want to encourage you, if you're part of that 60%, man, start something regular, and we'd encourage you. Our desire is not amount. Our desire has always been 100% participation. That if you call this place your home, like this is your home church, your kids are in part of Grace Kids, or your kids are part of Ardent, or you just come here and you love what happens on stage with worship and the messages, all of those things, we just ask, would you step in? Would you join us? Because we believe that God is doing incredible things here at Grace Chapel through the staff. The staff is, of course, we've been good stewards of the resources God has given us. And so would you step in? So if you're part of that 60%, my encouragement to you is play a part. Jump in. And man, if we did, we would have no problems. And God would be able to do even greater things. We could support more organizations around the world. We could do more things from this little church in Wilsonville if we all played a part.
Thank you.
Amen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then obviously there's different ways that you can give. Traditionally, obviously, you can do it online. You can do the app. You can do check or cash. But there are a couple of other ways that you can give to Grace if you have stocks, appreciated stocks and bonds and all of that fun stuff. But most importantly, I just want to thank you. We want to thank you for your commitment, for your faithfulness, and your discipleship in being here. I actually have a ton more slides, but I know that's super boring for everyone to go through. So it is on the app. It's going to get emailed later this week. And it really is it's 50 slides of really great information. So I would love it if you took just a moment to review it, because God is doing really amazing things here. And I would really hate for us to just slide through and not appreciate and honor the things that have happened. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about, you're like, man, I'm a number person, or I want to help in this way or that way, or I might have a creative idea on, I have something, I want to see how God could use that for the kingdom, maybe at Grace Chapel, talk to Stacy. She's available. You can email her, and she's the one that would give you all the information specifically around resources and all that stuff. But we just want to say thank you again. I say thank you on behalf of the church, on behalf of, Mike's not here. He's still on sabbatical, but I know he's just overjoyed with what God has been doing and what God is doing and how God has used us all together to do this thing and to be an outpost for the kingdom here in Wilsonville, which is pretty exciting. So with that said, we're going to let you stand up, say hi to one another, and then I'm going to be right back up here, and we're going to be closing the book of James. So come on back. It's going to be fun.